If you are coming in order to this video, you have now good understanding about comparative scales with 2.1 video. So here in 2.2 video, we are talking about rating scales that are non-comparative scales. So these are including like a T-scale, semantic differential scale and stable scale. When talking about rating scales, the most common type of rating scale is numeric rating scales and descriptive graphic rating scale. When talking about numerical rating scale, it is the judgment of quality or degree into numbers to increase the objectivity and consistency of results from numeric rating scales. A short verbal description of the quality level of each number may be provided. You can identify that from the picture of in the slide. That picture describes how numeric values going as none, mild, moderate and severe. Then what are descriptive graphic rating scales? It is a better format for the rating because this scale replaces a single word with a short behavioral description of various points along the scale. Describing the points of scale by behavior descriptions leads to increased consistency of rating across raters and students. Here also you can identify how descriptive graphic rating scales are include with the smiley face descriptors and quantity descriptors. Quantity descriptors also have uh, numerical points and smiling faces also have graphical interface uh, for this scale. Those are main two types of rating scales. So when talking about rating scales at a whole, according to the NIC Code 2001, rating scales can be used for teaching process and assessment. According to him, rating scales help students understand the learning target outcomes and to focus students' attention on performance. Secondly, completed rating scales gives specific behavior, specific feedback to students as far as their strengths and weakness with respect to the targets to which they are measured. Third, students not only learn the standards but also may internalize the set of standards from this. So finally, ratings help to show each student's growth and progress. Then let's move to other main types of scales as described in first slide. Those are like a T-scale, semantic differential scale and stable scale. So a like a type item may have many response label variations like in the slide. There are many variations, you can identify those. So this scale is developed in 1930 to by Rancis Likert to measure attitudes. So this is uh, measuring about opinions, attitudes and behavior. And also it consists statement or question. So it have a series of 5 to 7 answers uh, like statements, and respondents can choose options that better to them, better to their feelings. Uh, they can choose that. That is very briefly what is the Likert scale. So next, let's move to next slide. Yeah, here is the constructing way of Likert scale instrument. So when constructing Likert scale instrument, we have to write a series of statements expressing positive and negative opinions toward a attitude object. Next, we have to select the best statement, at least 10, with the balance of positive and negative opinions, and edit as necessary. The third step is list the statements combining the positive and negative and put the letters of the 5-point scale to left of each statement for easy marking. The fourth step is add the directions indicating how to mark the answers and include the key at the top of page if letters are used to each statement. So finally, some prefer to drop the undecided category so that response will focus to indicate or disagreement. Then this slide will show you what are the strengths of Likert scale. You can also see a picture of Likert scale on attitudes. It also includes strongly disagree, somewhat disagree, no opinion, somewhat agree, and strongly agree. So that's how we construct a Likert scale. So I'm not going more far on that matter. So let's talk about here strength of Likert scale. So Likert scale is useful for capturing varied levels of agreement or disagreement, and also it provides a more better understanding of respondents' feelings. It also includes qualitative data, and it is more desirable for analyze relatively, and it is very easy to analyze. Yeah. Now let's talk about limitations of Likert scale. So limitations of Likert scale are those can response bias. Response, respondents may agree or disagree with all statements due to social desirability, and there is tendency toward extreme responses or other demand characteristics. So that are limitations of Likert scale. Here there is a picture on uh, analysis of Likert scale. Uh, so you can also identify a good point on Likert scale from here. However, we talked about limitations of Likert scale from this slide. Next, we are coming to semantic differential scale. So it is more likely Likert scale, but it is different from that. Semantic differential scale is a rating scale that used to measure the attitudes and opinions of respondents towards an object, person, event, or idea. So it uses a set of bipolar adjectives such as good, bad, happy, sad, strong, weak, and etc. So those are placed at opposite ends of the continuum. So respondents are asked to rate those on each adjectives using 7 or 10 points. So these information also help us to analyze attitudes of respondents. So when talking about this scale, there are some strengths of semantic differential scales like other scales. So those are it's very user friendly and it is quick administration facility has, and we can get insights of respondents from this, uh, and also it includes versatility. Then there also have limitations of semantic differential scale. The interpretation can have respondent bias. So it can be a wrong response when using semantic differential scale. So another limitation is there is a limited respondent options. We can't give more options. There are only limited response options. And also it is contextual bias. According to the respondent context, the answer can be differ, and also the answer is not correct always. Then let's move to next scale, that's staple scale. It is also similar to other scales, but there is a differ thing when comparing with other scales. So it was named after its developer Jan Staple. So that's why it introduced as a stable scale. So it is a unipolar rating scale and it has clause ended with a single adjective and designed to measure a respondent's attitude or perception toward a particular subject or event. So it rates from negative to positive values without a neutral point. So it can place as a single adjective in the center and even number of numerical values such as positive 3 to negative 3 or positive 5 to negative 5. So respondents choose the most suitable response from this rating. That's how stable scale include. Then let's talk about strengths of that scale. So it is actually easy to understand and respond uh, by using numerical labels. Uh, it is good because absence of neutral point, and it is measures both directions and intensity of attitudes. So data strength of stable scale. So this brings me to the end of this video. I think now you have good understanding what are rating scales, how the types of rating scales are included in this scale, uh, and I think you can understand what type of rating scales uh, from is studying after this video. Uh, so that's about non-comparative scales. It is a technique of measuring affective domain. Um, so this is the end of 2.2 video. You can refer more from 3, 4, 5 and another videos in this video series. Thank you for joining with me.